Hello and welcome to the Supreme Leadership Summit. I am your host, Rachel Abba, and I am a Supreme spiritual guide and courage mentor to highly intuitive people. And I'm in the business of supporting highly intuitive people become bold and feel seen and liberated to step out into the world and create tangible successes, plural, for themselves on their terms. And today in the studio with us, we have a powerhouse, another woman who empowers other women and literally talks and walks what it is she says she's all about, which is just igniting the world and inspiring the world with so many stories and so many just accomplishments that, we can't possibly fill in just the time we have. But I will go ahead and read her bio. We are in the presence of none other than Miss Patricia Bebia Mawa, and she's the Executive Vice President, Silvertrust Media and Afroglobal Television. She is, also not even just Silvertrust Media and Afroglobal Television. She has directed and produced over 15 television programs, including the Visionaries and Standing Ovation. She is the writer and director of the new drama series, Omobella Palace. Patricia is the associate publisher of Excellence, Envision and Destiny Magazines, chair of Reelworld Screen Institute. She is a recipient of the Queen Elizabeth II Diamond Jubilee Medal. Patricia and her husband, Moses, have been featured on CNN International in a half-hour special. And in March of 2016, the duo launched Afroglobal Television, a 24-hour television channel. In 2018, they co-authored the 150 Extraordinary Canadians Legacy book, and the list goes on. Patricia, welcome to Supreme Leadership Summit. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me, Rachel.
You're most welcome. So, as I said, this is really exciting because here is someone who personifies exactly what the summit is all about, which is, top experts on clarity, courage, and confidence, revealing their superior strategies to feel worthy and realize their dreams. And here is someone who, just in that snippet, you can see that she has her own mind, she has a vision for her life, and she has a vision that really has become all-encompassing and just inspiring the world. And this required, clarity in terms of, how she perceives herself, the vision to be able to do this, confidence that she has built over time, and the courage to take that leap of faith. And I'm so looking forward to hearing just a little bit about how you came to this work.
And I'm looking forward to the conversation as well.
She's like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So how exactly, you looked at your life, you went to school, you graduated, and you're thinking, I'm going to become an employee, or you were thinking, I'm going to make my path in the world. How did this happen for you? How did you come to become like a media mogul? Let's be honest. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah. Here. Well, the simple answer is divine orchestration, but the details, So what happened was that, as a young girl growing up, I wanted to, become a lawyer. I actually started my first degree in political science. And so while I was in school, I used to moderate plays at my church. I used to write and moderate plays, like nice. During Christmas or Easter, we'll, kind of stage a play and all that kind of stuff.
So this would have been your season.
Yeah, so I was just moderating one of the plays I wrote in church in my first year university, and a guy came to me after church and said, I'm looking for someone to host a TV show. Would you be interested? And I said, but I'm just a first year student in university. And he said it would be on the weekend, so don't worry. And so I went and auditioned, and I, got the job. So while I was in university from my first year, I was doing that show until I graduated. So when I graduated, all I knew how to do was television. So, and then I just, sort of continued. But the interesting thing, talking about vision and all that, is that
Yes.
one day I had seen the Oprah Winfrey Show on satellite. This was in Nigeria. I wouldn't even have satellite at my house, but I went to
You
a
went
friend's
somewhere.
house. Yes, and I saw Oprah on satellite, and I just said it aloud. I'm like, wow, I would like to do this someday. I just said it out
Look at
there.
that. You
And
you
in fact,
declared it.
yes, I declared it. And it's funny. After I said it, I was embarrassed because I looked around. I'm like, oh, did I just say that out loud? And so I think God, providence, the universe, everything just kind of took that declaration and made it happen. So, and then I came to Canada, right, in 2000. So I worked in
Yes.
Nigeria. I used to host a daily talk show in the largest city in Nigeria called Lagos. I
Beautiful.
hosted a daily
Yes.
talk show there for a few years. And then I came to Canada to study and eventually met my husband, Moses, and decided to stay in Canada. So he, by the time I came here, was, a producer. So he had a production studio in Ottawa. So he was interested in starting a television show. So we kind of, worked together and eventually got a show on Omni after so many no's. So, and then eventually we launched the TV channel, the magazines, and the award shows, all the other things that
Yes.
we do. And I must say that for 22 years, for 22 years, especially, well, 20 years for me, we've done our business full time. I haven't sought employment anywhere else. And so we've been full-time employers and business people for 20 years.
Wow.
Going
Well,
to 21 now.
congratulations. That is no small feat, because, anyone who has ever ventured, tried their hand in, entrepreneurship, that being your own boss is it's not a walk in the park. There's a lot of responsibility. There's a lot of creativity, and your imagination and your stick-to-itness and your resilience, truly, because you're relying on your moxie. You know what I mean? Like, you're relying on your own ability to be accountable and responsible, right? And then in your position, you're also accountable and responsible for others, right? To bring this vision forward. So I find it really fascinating and inspiring as well that, one, you declared it, right? And then immediately you felt self-conscious about it. And that is something that I've found that even in my work, so relatable, right? And many people can, you speak for yourselves, audience, like, many people can relate to having a dream or having a wish or having this idea, but not thinking that we're qualified. And this is part of that worthiness conversation that we're having here on the Supreme Leadership Summit, where you have this kind of like a nudging or a calling on your heart, but then you think, but it can't possibly be because there's no evidence of it, like around you, like that you can see, right? There's no evidence of it. So, the fact that you thought it and you spoke it, even if you kind of felt self-conscious, you still remained in the step you were in, and everything you were doing, you never forgot that. It was still tucked in away back there. And whenever you had an opportunity, or you were presented with an opportunity that was in alignment with that declaration, you said yes.
Yeah. And it's interesting. I met Oprah this year. And yes, I met Oprah, took a
Congratulations,
picture
full
with her
circle.
and everything. And it was just a moment because I was just looking at her, and I met her twice this year. And
Twice in 22.
I wanted to tell her everything, but I was just a little bit overwhelmed, by the moment.
Yes.
But we had a connection right away, and when she came to that space, um, on that day,
Yes.
she didn't want to take a picture with anyone, but she took a picture with me, just me, in that space.
Wow.
Well, apart from the people that came with her.
Yes.
So it was just like, I asked for it and she said yes. And we had a little chit chat,
Yes.
and it just made me realize how sometimes when you have a dream and you walk towards it. See, once you have a dream and you begin to take the steps towards it, sometimes even not consciously, but because you have said, okay, this is what I want to do,
Yes.
you find out that the stars begin to align. You begin to
Mm.
find, people placed on your path that will lead you to that destination. But
Yes.
you have to take the leap. Like, how I I didn't know I could even do a TV show when he asked me. I was like, I've never done this before. I had all kinds of excuses, a little of excuses. So this fellow even believed in me more than I believed in myself. He said, "No, but you speak well.
Yes.
I saw your presentation, and I think you can do it." So he
Yes.
convinced me to say yes, and but eventually everything depended on me. So
Yes.
once I realized that, oh wow, this is actually what I really wanted to do, I stopped trying to become a lawyer. So I actually finished my first degree
She's like, I ceased and
in political
desisted.
science. Yes, I earned a degree in political science, but I did not continue to study law. I
Okay.
decided to take courses in multimedia and all that because
Yes.
I
Yes.
just realized that, this is what I'm caught out for. And
Yes.
why waste time pursuing some other thing?
Yes.
And even when I came to Canada, everybody told me, you know what, you have an accent. You're not going to be able to go back on television.
Those
Look for another
naysayers.
job. Yeah, some friends had already even gotten me a form to become like, you know, to go do some courses to quickly become a personal support worker and eventually a nurse. I really respect, healthcare workers, but
Yes.
everyone has, their own
Their
lane and
path.
their own purpose, and that wasn't my purpose. So, and it was tough at the beginning, but I was determined. And see, once you actually have a conviction of what you've been put on this earth to do, or even what
That
you
clarity.
think, yes, what you think you can contribute, stop
Yes.
at nothing to make sure that you pursue it. Because
Beautiful.
there's a saying that when you leave your place, you will lose your audience. But when you are in your
Mm.
place, your audience will come. You don't have to struggle too hard. I mean, the things that some people do naturally, other people struggle, or other people may be good at something, but they don't have their, I don't know what to call it, but you may be skilled at it, but you may not have the audience because you're in the wrong place. So always remember that. And starting doesn't mean that you're not afraid. There are many things that we've done afraid. When we launched a
Do
24-hour
it
TV
afraid.
channel, we're scared to death. But we did the budget and we found out how much it was going to cost. And we talked to some consultants and they told us
Yes.
what it entailed. We were scared. We were
Scared,
afraid. But
sweating. Yes.
yes,
And still
yes, but
doing it
did we did
anyway.
yeah, but we did it anyway. So just do it afraid. And before you know it, you will see that all you were afraid of, actually you have the capacity and the capability to, achieve everything that you want to.
Yes. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. I mean, right there is a masterclass, like right in that little nugget, because this is a through line, throughout this entire summit, because, what you've just shared and the story you've attached to it as well, really is the evidence that, impossible is nothing. Like, you can do this. We are like, we're hot wired for success when you get clear on your gift, your calling, where you have ease. It doesn't mean it's easy. Doesn't mean you're not scared, right? It doesn't mean that, there won't be challenges and naysayers, but there is, I describe it as being in the eye of the storm. There is a certain grace and covering, right? That one can experience when they're in their lane, in their path, and everything is just cleared for you to keep walking. The door is opened, but you're required to walk, right? And do the legwork. And that is exactly what I hear you describing. And you didn't know how it was going to work out. You didn't know if it was possible because people said, maybe not because of that, because of an accent, because of, whatever the logical explanations are. But we're describing supreme leadership, which is leadership in the realm of miracles. Leadership that is divinely, I mean, you use the term, right? Whether it be divine ordination, whether it be, having, the grace and the covering of the Most High, however way you want to, your purpose, right? Describe it. This is what I'm hearing. And everywhere you went, whether it be from Nigeria, from watching the show, seeing Oprah on satellite, on someone else's satellite, whether it's, having, your in the church, right? Minding your own business and doing your projects and things, you will be seen. You will be visible because you're in your path. So what I would love for you to share quickly with our audience is, what have you experienced firsthand in terms of how you see having that sense of self-worth, and as a believer and someone who, I imagine is spiritual and has a belief in a higher power. How do you view, what's your relationship like with self-worth and what you've been able to achieve in your life?
Wow, that's a very good question. I know some people look at me. She's a TV host. We brought all kinds of great names to Toronto.
Yes, you have.
We meet with kings and princes and all that kind of stuff. And
Dignitaries, yes.
they imagine that, oh, she must be like was born confident. No, I wasn't born confident, and I'm still working on it. And see, self-worth is very important because there are a lot of things that I know now that I wish I knew earlier. I did a video actually, not long ago on self-worth. It's on my YouTube page.
Okay.
And I just
I'm
did
going
that
to
video
snatch that and like include it somewhere here.
Yeah, a lot of people have actually told me that, we really talk to them. See, self-worth is everything. It determines how much time and how far you're ready to go to pursue your dreams. Because when you put a value on yourself, you do whatever it takes to validate yourself and to increase your value. And then even, when you know who you are as a woman, for instance, person you end up with in a relationship, who is
Yes.
allowed into your space, but when you don't know your worth, you don't invest in yourself. Even you don't invest in things that will improve who you are and what you can, give to the world. You don't
Yes.
even understand that you're valuable to the world and you have something that the world really needs, because you don't really know, the value, the rare gem. We're all rare gems, each and every one of us. But you have to understand it and believe it for yourself. And when you begin to believe in yourself and your abilities and your worth, who you are, when you not only will you place a premium on yourself, but others will begin to place a premium on you and value you better. Because if you do
Wow.
not value yourself, others will value you less. That's what I've come to realize. So make sure if you feel, your sense of self-worth is lacking, do whatever it takes. And there's some very good, material out there, that can help you. But focus on that, because that, in this world that we're in today, you need that. And sometimes we miss the mark, because when I was a young person,
Younger.
there's a moment when your parents did everything to you.
You're still young.
Did everything. Well, I'm still young, right? I'm
When
still
I was
young. But
when I was younger. Yeah.
yes, when I was younger, I used to think that life was going to be easy. There's a little piece that I wrote, titled "When You're Called a Name." I may not be able to render the whole thing. I just render a little, one little sort of stanza. It says, when you're born, make room for a name. When you're called a name, make room for yourself. When you are yourself, then you will be known. And when you are known, do not forget your name. If you forget your name, you will be forgotten. So when we are born, society, our
we're going to
parents,
have to watch that again and absorb it, right? Like, she's just
yeah,
dropping it like it's nothing.
Yeah, you have to process it, but it's profound when you think about it deeply. When
It
you're
is.
born, you're like a white piece of paper. Everyone is writing on it. Your parents, society, they're telling you this is
Yes.
what you're going to do, this is what you should do. They're calling you a name that is not even a name
Yes.
that you picked for yourself. And
Yes.
all come together to make who you are. But
Yes.
once you have grown, you have to make room for yourself. Because
Absolutely.
when you are yourself, it says you will be known. So what does that mean? If you're not yourself, you could be known, but there'll be no impact. When you are yourself, you'll be known. And it says, when you are known, do not forget your name. That talks about humility, authenticity,
Yes.
because when we are known, there's temptation for us to veer off of who we
Yes.
really are.
Yes.
The authentic self, is kind of like in jeopardy, but when you kind of know who you are and what you're worth and what you can bring, or what you can bring to humanity and to the world, you
Absolutely.
will see that not only will you be fulfilled, but everything will be in harmony in your life. Even when things are not working,
Yes.
you will kind of find a certain level of fulfillment and peace.
That is beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that. I mean, that right there, because I often refer to, that knowledge of self and being in your authentic path. And what I also heard you talking about was, being of service from that space of authenticity. And that is what I often refer to as when you're being medicine in the world. That is
Mm,
medicine, because that is healing, both for the healer and the ones receiving the healing via your gift, your talent,
mm.
your purpose, your work, who you're being in the world. That is truly powerful. So please absorb that, because that is like words to live by and to give by, right? You don't give from an empty cup, give from a whole and complete sense of self. That is amazing. Now, very quickly, we're almost on time. If there was one thing you could share with our audience, whether it be a practice, a tool, a tip, what would that be?
Wow. Well, this year, 2022, is supposed to be one of the most incredible years in my life, because my daughter turned 18. Um, I've been married for 20 years. I turned 50. And my daughter graduated from high school. My younger daughter graduated from junior, started high school.
Yes.
So many, things. But this year has turned out to be one of the most challenging years in so many respects and so many ways. I can't begin to go into the details. But what I've learned is that almost everything that I have learned over this years was put to trial,
This year.
with all the things that I've faced, this year, 2022.
Yes.
Um, and what I've come to realize that your strength is not known until your strength is tried. And when your strength is tried, all you know is what will help you stand. And not just all you know, but all you know for sure. That's what
Yes.
will help you stand. But my tip and my advice to people out there
Yes.
is this: um, let's just live one day at a time. Have a big picture of where you're going, what you want to do, a vision for your life, but just focus on the daily goals. If you're perfect today, when we did the interview with CNN, there's something I said that is kind of went viral at some point.
What was
Somebody
it?
cut it out and put it out there. He said, success is not doing one big thing. Success is doing a number of little things excellently. So every single day, when you focus on doing today's beat perfectly, tomorrow's beat, before you know it, you're living a life of excellence, right? And
Absolutely.
same approach to tribulation or challenges or obstacles, or when you're going through a hard time. Don't worry about the future. As soon as you see, the reason that a lot of people are stressed and worried and all that kind of stuff is because
Anxious
we're
and yeah.
future minded. We're future minded. Instead of us focusing on this moment, this moment is a gift. It is a
Grounded
gift.
in the present, like being
Yes,
present
but
to
we
yourself.
That is it. We worry about what's going to happen. Are we going to be able to feed the kids? Is there going to be a new
Yes.
disease? Is there going to be this? How about this moment? It doesn't matter what's happening, if it's negative or positive. How about looking at that moment and what is good in that moment and focusing
Yes.
on that? So my big advice to everyone, which is my philosophy, and that's why I'm 50, but I look 20, right?
Absolutely. Are you kidding? Like I was teasing her earlier that she's pulling a Benjamin Button, like she's going in reverse. Next thing you know, like, yeah.
But people always ask me what's the secret. There's a Nigerian musician that like to say no shaking. So no
Yeah.
shaking. I mean, whatever it is, we're gonna go through it by
Yes.
God's grace. So just one day at a time and focus on the good in this moment. There may be a
Yes.
lot of challenges all around, but every
Yes.
moment does have a good. It could be the lesson you will learn from the opportunity. I call it opportunity, from the opportunity. One
Absolutely.
can call it challenge if you want.
Yeah.
But just what is the good in every moment, and just hold on to that, and you see that you kind of be able to face things, because as they say, right, life is just 10% of what happened to us, 90% of how we react to it, you see.
Perception.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Well, those are, I mean, we can add philosopher to the list of titles. This is mind-blowing, absolutely phenomenal. I mean, you're also, I mean, you're a motivational speaker, but I mean, you really deal with mindset. And that's one of the things that I really appreciate about you, because it's, what's happening up here can determine, the reality that we create for ourselves. So remain present, ground yourself in the present. These are wise words to live by. Patricia Bebia Mawa, thank you so much for being a supreme leader and leading from the front in excellence. So I see you and I honor you. Thank you so much. And for all of you, thank you for joining the Supreme Leadership Summit again inside of another brilliant episode. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.
Take care.